All right, guys, ALGS seems to have made their decision, and the new POI draft will exist for ALGS Split 2, and we've seen this right a couple of months ago. We had seen this leak inside of the Pro League Discord. Apparently, they were talking about doing these draft systems where it's not just calling the POI you want and contesting for it, but it's actually going to have a snake draft, it seems, and this would be based upon seeding that was going on. Well, today it came out. Zach had started off by saying the ALGS let us know today that they hate us a lot. Yeah, a lot of pros seem to not be in favor of this. Nasky said the new POI draft system is amazing on paper, but a massive flaw is that the POIs are so unbalanced, and because of the unbalance, it's going to create a massive luck factor in the game. Are you lucky enough to get Siphon, or do you low roll and have to land at Geyser? Oof, unlucky. However, if they were all equally balanced with their own strength and weaknesses, it would be some of the most competitive additions to Apex, and obviously that would be the goal. Then you've got Madness saying, since ALGS is forcing us to do a POI draft system for all future ALGS tournaments, good luck to whoever gets stuck with Cliffside. Now, you may be wondering, well, what if someone goes rogue? What if someone decides they don't want to do it? Well, that's not necessarily how it works. Sadly, well, I wouldn't say sadly. I do like the idea. It's just that, like Nasky says, it just seems like it's not going to be great in practicality just on paper, but it would basically be a respawn beacon, a redeploy or drop ship that comes in and it drops you in with a skydive only at a certain height to land at that POI. So it's not going to be one going over the entire map and you all jump out and go land where you want to land. It would actually spawn you on that POI, and it would just literally drop you down in from a drop ship, and you would only be able to skydive, basically like a smaller Valkyrie, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky situation, but like Madness says, it's very true. You know, if you get stuck with this, it is going to suck. Funk also came out to say, because of this, the new Dark Zero and SSG Super Team just got nerfed by the POI draft system. Of course, one of the biggest things about Hal being on with Zero and Jin Burton is they probably have some of the most slaying power in the game, so they can land at a lightning rod or whatever the most sought after POI is. And yeah, they're right. So this is going to change things a bit. And of course, a lot of people had an opinion on that. His Watson also saying contesting and set drop spots were always the worst part about competitive Apex. Teams will now have to play every play style instead of just carving a random niche and hyper fixating upon it as well. Early rotating with crypto and hiding in a corner was not near as skillful as landing thermal and playing hard edge every game. The ego claiming system led to lots of griefing and made it hard for new teams to have a fair chance. If you're a good player, congrats. You will now have an easier time because of all of the one tricks. Will now have to learn how to play the game actually. If you're a viewer, congrats. This will push the level of play upwards. Hal of all people should be excited about this change because he is probably the most well-rounded player in the game. And if you haven't seen Hal's opinion already, well, take a look and roll the clip.
So you said that the draft happens every Pro League day we play?
Yeah, so each Pro League day will be seeded slightly differently, but it all weights out to everybody having the same, like, total,
chance?
Gravity, I guess you would say. Yeah, over the course of the Pro League. It'll all equal out. So some days will be, like, slightly worse than others. Some days will be slightly better.
Oh, I see. Isn't there, like, a likelihood of someone getting, like, ultimately fucked more than somebody else? Because there's...
What do you mean, ultimately fucked more?
Because, so, if there's 20 teams, but there's 25 drop spots...
I see what you've said, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that I would assume that most of the shared drop spots will not be selected. So, for stuff like Barometer North and Barometer South, I don't expect teams to want to con Barrow over taking free stuff.
Yeah, but we don't get to pick.
Wait, I'm on...
What do you mean we don't get to pick?
Stone Point now, right?
I thought you said it was random, no?
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, the order is random. The POIs aren't random. We get to pick. It's just where we select is random.
Oh, okay, I see.
The idea here, and the point is, you heard in the How clip that they're trying to make it to where the seeds are balanced throughout the year. So you might get TSM or Dark Zero, whatever, getting a really good drop spot in their first set of matches. But, like, you know, later on, they should get a worse set drop spot. Other teams that got bad drop spots should now get better drop spots. It should even itself out to some degree. Problem is, not all of the zones are going to end in the same spot, right? So, you know, you might have, So you might have a lightning rod, you know, POI that you get, but the zone's all the way over at like Cenote. So like that's a long way to rotate. That might cause some problems. And so it's not necessarily going to be even. There's a lot of other factors in Battle Royale that change this up a bit. And so they're trying to make it even. We'll see exactly if it goes in that direction. And then here are the spots for World's Edge. You can see there's actually more than 20, so there's a lot to pick from. They're actually calling you know, they are calling things like Skyhook East, Sky West, which obviously pros already do, Climatizer East, Climatizer West, Epicenter, Survey Camp, but there are some things that I don't think people really call too much of a POI that they are starting to call now. For instance, more often than not, you would have a contest happen over at Siphon rather than Siphon East, Siphon West. I guess you can call it that. Sure, it's set up like Climatizer, but more often than not, people just land here at the middle and fight each other because it's a POI that is not necessarily good enough to split between two people. And then, of course, nobody really likes to land Geyser. A lot of people also don't land at Mirage just as one POI. They land staging in Mirage or a Lava Fisher in Mirage. So there's things that they're starting to split up now, and yeah, you could get screwed over if you don't get the luck of the draw. So interested to see how it's all going to go down, of course, but I am excited for some new changes. I gotta say, I know not everyone's excited, but I do like the ideas of it. Also, Oversight Esports came out to put these scrim results: Vanity in first place, SSG in second place, and Eternal EC in third place, Oxygen in fourth place, Edgers in fifth place, and then of course, taking a look at this, you had Dark Zero, right, the super team, in 14th place. And that's when one of the casters, Dia, had put in out a conversation that I think it got a lot of people talking, to say the least. He said, I do think people are overvaluing the super team in the larger scale of Apex. Could Zero, Jin, and Hal really be that much scarier than the DZ that won 4 games straight at playoffs? They should be the #1 team in North America, but I don't anticipate that they easily win playoffs. Of course, a lot of people are like, look, you know, these guys on paper should win nearly everything. They are a general super team. I agree with him, though. I don't know that we're going to see this domination that you saw back in, you know, years ago in Call of Duty, where Complexity or EG won every single tournament in a row. It's not going to be that, in my opinion. I think they're going to be a good team. They'll probably win some events, but I don't think it's going to be absolute decimation. No one has a chance. I think APAC North still has a valid chance. I think Fnatic still is in the conversation. How can you already take out Reject Winity? I don't think that this super team that is being built inside of North America is going to just go lights out. I think they're going to have success. They're going to look good. They're going to look strong. They're going to be #1 in a lot of things, and they may even win an event. I just don't think it's going to be probably worth the price that it's going to have to be paid. And I just think that, you know, at the end of the day, they're going to have a lot of competition. So I like this take from Dia, but I know a lot of people were in the comments. They had a lot of things to say here. Lastly, wanted to mention some roster updates. So Panders had came out to say him and Zera are LF1. Looks like they're coming back together after all of this and looking for teams for Challenger Circuit and the World Cup qualifier. Also, you had Oxygen Esports say that Rostermania season has arrived, but then also exploring options coming from Reeds. Once again, a reminder that he is looking for a new organization. Interested to see where Reeds finds himself. And then 2R1C, 2 Rats 1 Controller, came out to say soon they will be representing a new home. So excited for these guys. They did very well inside of the ALGS Split 1 playoffs, and then also in the EMEA scene in general. These guys definitely showed their worth in order to get to an organization. So I'm excited for them. Best of luck to those guys in the future. Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below about the draft that we're going to have for POIs, the roster updates, and all of this controversy going around with Dark Zero and the super team mentality. Let me know what your thoughts are, and until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.